Miami Valley.
Tell me about Daniel as a person.
You're gonna make me cry. Love the outdoors. Love to walk the woods.
Scott Weidel's son Daniel died more than a year ago after battling a heroin addiction for years. He was finally turning a corner thanks to Vivitrol. Now that's a once-a-month shot that blocks that high feeling. Daniel was clean on Vivitrol for 8 months when his doctor just stopped coming to work. The family then scrambled to find a new healthcare provider but didn't have any luck. And without Vivitrol, Daniel began using again and died in December of 2015. Scott Weidel has been fighting the root problem of the opiate addiction ever since and joins us this morning here in the studio. Scott, of course, we thank you so much for taking your time to be here because I know this is not only a personal but a difficult topic for you to talk about.
Thank you for inviting me, Megan.
You've spent, like we talked about, just over a year really educating yourself. What have you learned and what most surprised you about the opiate addiction?
Well, first of all, losing a child is a devastating situation to go through for a parent, and it devastates the family. And there was 2,600 families that went through the same thing I did last year. It was a 45% increase from the year before. And once I went through this, that it's just shocked my world to where I've decided to change my motivation and focus in life and to focus on this issue to try to make a difference. This is my #1 priority for this entire year and maybe even longer if that's what it takes. The other part of the issue was that I lost my son because we couldn't find medical care that we needed.
Right, because he was doing well.
He was doing well. We was on Vivitrol for 8 months, and the doctor provider that we was seeing stopped coming to work, and we needed to find a new provider. And we tried over and over and over, and was turned down. And Vivitrol is a medicine that any doctor can prescribe, any primary care physician can prescribe it. It takes no special training, and the problem is primary care doctors aren't opening their doors up to treat this disease during an epidemic.
Do you feel like the medical community let you down in more than one way, I would imagine, because it started with an opiate addiction and then you couldn't get the drugs necessary, the Vivitrol necessary?
Absolutely, that's hitting the nail on the head. And what I found out in my research that really shocked me was that I knew that opioids prescriptions were similar to heroin, but it's actually the same thing as heroin. The opioid pills you get from your doctor is synthetic heroin. So a lot of people take these drugs for a long, long time and they think they're different from the person taking heroin, and they're not. And 4/5 of the people that are currently using heroin fall into the heroin trap.
You've really dedicated your life to this now. You told me that you've been going to Columbus, you're working with lawmakers. What's the next step for you?
Right now I'm going weekly to Columbus, and I'm walking the halls of the Capitol building with a little help from an advisory firm. And I'm talking to legislators, and I'm finding that they are hungry for new innovative ideas because the system that we have isn't working. And one of the things that I think is key is to find a way to incentive the primary care physicians to open their doors to help treat this disease. We have 30,000 Ohio primary care physicians in Ohio, and less than 2% of them will see a patient for addiction, but yet they'll hand out opioid pills, which is the same as heroin, every day. And that's just so wrong in my book, and I want to try to figure out a way to cut back on the opioid overprescribing. The CDC has said in 2012 that overprescribing of opioids was an epidemic before the heroin epidemic. Opioid prescriptions have killed more in the past decade than heroin. That shocked them.
Really astounding numbers. All right, it's fine. You obviously are so well versed on the subject. You've even created your own website. We want to mention that because if people want to learn more, you can go to danielstory.org and do so. And we also investigated this issue last night on Fox 45 at 10, and you can see the full report and learn more just by logging on to fox45now.com and clicking on this story. Again, Scott, we really appreciate your time this morning and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Our time now is